So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, where's everyone gone to? You can't see me. Why can't you see me? There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. I apologize, number one, because for whatever reason, this tells me I'm broadcasting in 1080p, and nobody needs to see that. But there's nothing I can do about it because it won't let me change it back to 720, which you're all used to. And I know that doesn't make a blind bit of difference to anybody, but don't be counting the amount of hairs in my head. Because I'm very conscious about it. So anyway, Aston Villa versus Brugge, bit later today, and thanks everybody for waiting. Just a couple of commitments that we had to take care of, and we couldn't make it in time for a normal team sheet tantrum, but we are here, as we said we would be, and let's get into it, because it's a shame we couldn't make it for the full lot of the team sheet tantrum, because we can see here that there's a return of Tyrone Mings and Boubacar in the first team 11 that lines up as such, with Martinez, Konza, Diego Carlos, Mings. Oh, where's it gone to? There we go. I think I'm back again. So we'll get back to that once more. Martinez, Konza, Diego Carlos, Mings, Maatsen, Bailey, Kamara, Tielemans, McGinn, Rodgers, and Watkins, with a bench of Robin Olsen, Gauchi, Nedeljkovic, Bogard, Dina, Pau Torres, Silsfinkels, Onana, Ramsey, Buendia, Philogene, and John Duran. So we've got a full back four, or actually a back five if you want to, because we've got 5 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 2 attacking players if you count Philogene as an attacking player, which you should do, and 2 goalkeepers. So a bit of a weird split on the bench there, but I suppose probably needed with Diego Carlos, or sorry, with Mings in there, making his way back from a long-term injury as well. So look, that's the team that we've picked to go out against Brugge. I'm not exactly too surprised by it. I thought Kamara might start. I thought he might have started there with Onana, and maybe Tielemans be pushed further forward, or Tielemans given a break. I thought Rodgers might be given a break, but it looks like Rodgers is in there as well. But apart from that, you know, it's kind of as we... Oh, Jesus. I think my connection is very unstable, guys. I don't know what the hell that's about. So I do apologize. But if you guys have me, I don't know whether you do or not, but I'm going to plow on ahead anyway. Yeah. No, I think we might be back. We might be a bit more stable. But yes, yeah. So it's a case there whereby it's a case there whereby Unai Emery seemed fit to rest Onana, which I'm not surprised by, given that he's only been able to complete 55 to 60 minutes every game. But yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. With regards to my connection as well, so I'm trying to do my best, and hopefully you guys can hear me a small bit better now, because I have switched Wi-Fi connections. If that makes any difference to the setup. Our youths team today had an absolutely brilliant performance. They won 6-2 for those of you who didn't see it. And Ben Brugge announcing himself on the stage once more. Just a real good talent. A lot of people talking about him in scouting circles on Twitter as well. It's like as if they opened their eyes to him today. So it's good to have that. But I'm very, very hopeful that Aston Villa can go to Bruges today and have a very, very professional performance. You know, keep this winning trend going, and making sure that winning becomes that habit, specifically in European competitions. Yes, it's not been massively rosy in the league so far with all the draws and obviously the bad loss at the weekend. But today is the day to try and make up for that. I don't expect us to be as on the front foot from our centre half positions as we normally would be today. And what I mean by that is, I don't expect Mings to be trying to carry the ball up the field like Pau Torres does sometimes. I don't expect Mings to be the massive outlet for Now, look, we know he can do it. We know he can have those crossfield balls, but I don't expect him to be that massive outlet for our passing today. But I expect Kamara to be that guy. I expect Kamara and Tielemans to be a lot more active in that aspect, because Kamara was very much a pivot player for us last year. You know, getting his foot in the ball, turning, passing off, and taking that ball off the centre halves. And as we know, Tielemans is able to do that for us this year as well. Onana has been more of a destructor and carry the ball forward guy, and when he's got going. But Tielemans has been more of a passer, and I think Kamara is going to be that today. So we might see a small bit more structure in our defence today. And I think I actually genuinely believe that that's what Unai Emery has been working on over the last couple of days. As I've said before, as I said in my post match reaction, as I said in my in the team sheet or in the preview today, Unai Emery will be absolutely spitting cats at the fact that that the shape work was so off against Spurs. Potentially Mings coming in is going to help with that. You know, he is an organizer. He's a guts and glory defender. Pau Torres isn't. You know, Pau Torres doesn't throw himself at the ball. He doesn't get involved with centre halves, or sorry, with centre forwards. And I'll be hoping that Mings will be able to manipulate that back four and kind of direct them along with Konza as well from that right back position. I don't expect Konza to go that far forward. I expect our width to come from Bailey, obviously, and John McGinn on the left hand side. And I'm beginning to get a small bit feel sorry a small bit for John McGinn, because he's turning into the stereotypical in case of emergency break glass player. And you see the big C beside his name whenever the captain's armband that he holds. And I just like him to maybe have a more solidified position within the team. He's having to swap from the right or to the left, or play in the 10 position, or when people get injured, come back and play as a 6. And look, he's capable of doing all that. But, you know, he's over on the left-hand side today. Bailey's on the right-hand side. He is your Swiss Army knife, I suppose, within this team. And the fact that he's been preferred there over Jacob Ramsey leads me to believe that we're going to be very compact in that area, in the midfield area. He's going to be pulling into the middle of midfield. Matson's going to be given license to run forward. Rodgers will play closer to Watkins, as we saw him do that against Bologna as well. And that for me leads to, once again, a bit more structure in that defensive line. Mings pulls out. You've got a back three of Konza, Diego Carlos. Mings almost becomes a 3-5-2 situation when we're in possession, with Matson bombing forward and Bailey bombing forward in that right hand side. So there's a nice structure. There's a nice stability, I think, when that happens. And then obviously you have the ability for Kamara to pop back in there and make it almost a 4 at the back if Mings does have to travel to get to full back. Well, then Kamara should be in a position to be able to drop back, leaving Tielemans and McGinn to be that anchor point within the middle of midfield. That progressive point in the middle of midfield, should I say, and Kamara becomes the anchor there as well. So there's a lot of fluidity the way that those full backs are set up. The way that Bailey and McGinn are set up, should I say, to allow one full back invert and to allow the other full back go further forward. So look, whether that does happen, I'm a lot more confident in my prediction of that happening than I was in my box formation against Spurs, which I still will believe would have been the right formation to play and would have stopped Kulusevski playing through us for the second goal specifically. But it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see. And we'll take a look at what the Club Brugge side is as well. Let me get the Club Brugge side and we'll see. You know, we'll at least pretend we know some of the players. Share screen. Club Brugge. Here we go. Club Brugge. So we've got Mignolet in goals, Says, Michele, Ordonez, and De Kuiper. In the defence, Nielsen, Jashari, Vankin, Skov-Olsen, Jukla, and Solis make up that front three. And that's a dangerous front three. That's a front three that's got lots of movement in it, and a proper centre forward in Jukla up top as well, as I say, former Barcelona academy player. So there's there's a lot within that front three to be mindful of. With regards to their back four, the left back, the Kuiper, I think is a nice player. If I'm not mistaken, he's been in a couple of Belgian squads, and those two centre halves are going to stay where they are. They're I'm going to mix up which one of them is the ball playing centre half, but I think because one of them is 4 and the other one is 44, if I'm not mistaken. And when I was watching tape on them, I forgot to write down which I just wrote down. The fella who has 4, and I don't know whether it's 4 or 44 because they both have 4s in their back. So they have a ball playing centre half inside there, but I think they can be occupied really easily. I think Watkins can occupy the two of these guys, and obviously we know Simon Mignolet in goals, 36 years of age in goals. Obviously has loads of experience in the Premier League, but has thrown in a howler in his time as well. So interesting lineup from them. Not going to sit here and pretend I know a whole pile about Vanaken and Jashari and Nielsen, which will be their I suppose realistically will be their 3-man kind of hunker down midfield inside there as well. Don't know a whole pile about them, but interested to see them as the game goes on today. I was more focused on watching their front three and watching how their back four set up, because I think in midfield, in a game like this and in Europe, we've been pretty combative in midfield. We have owned the ball, and I think that's what we're going to do today as well. I think we're going to go there and try and own the ball, and with Tielemans and Kabara there, I definitely expect us to own that ball. And I would be disappointed with McGinn coming into that midfield with all the energy that's in there, that if we don't win that midfield battle, regardless of who's in there today, with the players that we have. But that front three, as I mentioned before, Scott Olsen, a very interesting player, very, very talented player, made a big move from, was that a Midtjylland or Nordland in Denmark? I don't think actually it was either of the two of them. I think it might have been Copenhagen. Made a big move to the Italian leagues, and then has come back into the Belgian league. Didn't have it all his own way, but he's a Danish international, and he's got plenty of skills and plenty of talent to play out there, and he will need minding. And Solis as well there, the Greek guy on the left hand side, came with big fanfare to Norwich when they were in the Premier League. Didn't quite get a good run of games, kind of flamed out at Norwich. But once again, fast player, good left foot, can whip a ball in, can go direct, and can ping one in from 25 yards as well. So definitely somebody that we need to look out for. And Jukla as well is a proper centre forward. He's going to occupy our centre halves, and he's dangerous in the box too as well. So not without measures that we're going to need to look after there in that front three. For certain, and I think that there will have needed to be a lot of work done in this team and a lot of respect given to this team over the course of the last week, because Aston Villa, as we know, want to have their unbeaten record in the Champions League. They want to keep it. Unai Emery said he thinks it's going to be what did he say? Was it 16, 17 points or 15, 16 points we're going to make? We're going to guarantee top 8 position. I myself think it'll probably be a bit less than that. I think you win today, you're on 12. I think 15 might get you, as opposed to 16, 17. I think 15 points gets you in there. Considering you've got teams there like Real Madrid, you've teams like even Man City have lost a couple of games now, so there's teams that have lost games. So if we can go to 4 wins with Juventus on the horizon, pick up anything then from Juventus, and then you've got Monaco and Celtic on the run in, I think you'd have to be feeling pretty good about where you are with 12, 13 points in the bag at that stage. So who knows where Unai Emery's permutations came from with regards to 16, 17 points. I would presume that he that he wanted to over promise on those points to make sure that he wasn't caught, but we will see. And who am I to disagree with him as well? There's a guy in the bench for Brugge that might get some time today, and I'm interested in seeing him as well. It's Scoris. So just keep an eye on him if he does come on, because he's somebody that I watched in a couple of games when I was doing a small bit of prep on these guys, and he was just somebody that kind of caught my eye slightly, and we'll see what he can bring to the table, and hopefully we will have a good cushion at that stage before we need to make any substitutions. So guys, I'm not going to stay too I'm not going to stay too long on this one because I know Dale is going to be starting very soon on his podcast. For any of you guys who are here, and if you do like a watch along, you will be thrown directly into Dale's watch along. AVFC Stato, he's watch along as well. And we will be back with a post match podcast. But before we do, pop in your score predictions, and I'll quickly go down through them. And I think that Aston Villa today, I think this is a game. This has to be a bounce back game. Has to be a bounce back game. Poor result against Crystal Palace, poor result against Bournemouth, poor result against Ipswich, poor result against Man United, and extremely poor result against Spurs. Bounce back has to happen soon. We've got some new fresh legs in one way, but obviously repaired and returning legs in another way in this team tonight. And we're away from home. I'm expecting Ollie Watkins to score tonight. I want to see Ollie Watkins score tonight. And I'm going to go for a 2-0 Aston Villa win today. Keep our clean sheet record in the Champions League, get a 2-0 win, come out of there without any injuries. And I really want to see improved performances from the back four. I want to see the back four playing as a unit again. I made the distinction between when Kanzes moved over to right back in game and when he starts there at right back. They're two different entities. I expect Carlos to be a lot more structured today. I expect our midfield to be a bit more compact, and I expect our Bailey and Maatsen to do a lot of the attacking down the left and right wings. So there is going to be opportunities for Morgan Rogers to come onto a cross, for Ollie Watkins to come onto a cross, for McGinn to break from midfield maybe and come onto a cross at the edge of the area. So I'm expecting 2 goals from Aston Villa today, and I'm hoping that Ollie Watkins gets one, if not both of them, as well. So, excuse me. So we have Adrian Inch is going with 2-0 to the Villa. AVFC Stato is going 3-0. Steve Berry is going 1-0. Paul McAllister is going 2-0 to Villa. 3-1 says Jordan Levy. Well, I don't want to be clicking it. Junior says 2-1. Daniel Donnelly says 1-0. 2-1 says David Dwyer. Stephen Brown says 2-1. Bounce back ability from Adam says 5-0 Villa. Noel Murphy saying 5-0 as well. Karma Baby's not hopeful of a result. Osgerm was saying 3-1 to Villa. Aston Villa Armchair fan is saying 2-1. Richard Parks is going with 5-3. Debbie Hingley is going with 2-0. Timothy Mulcahy is going with 2-1. Keelan Rutter is going with 3-0. Rex Colt is going with 3-2 to Bruges. Or 3-2 to... Actually, it's Keelan Rutter going for 3-0 to Villa, 3-0 to Bruges. 3-0 to Villa, I'm going to say. Ron Ward is going 3-1. Duncan Kilburn says all the big teams have iffy form at this point of the season. 3-1 to Aston Villa. Gig Sharma is going 1-0 to Villa here. 2-0 says Rich Burton. 4-0 says Charlie Kane. Mark Scoville is going for 2-0. Pat Connor is going with 2-0. Paul Miller is going with 2-1. Just Roy, back from going to his little bio break earlier on, is going for 2-1. Rex confirms it's 3-2 to Villa. And Lily Tate is going with 2-0 to Villa as well. And 4-1. So Raphael's finishing up here with a 4-1 to Villa. I like it. I like that. So so that's going to do it. I'm going to end the stream on that. I'm going to kick you guys into Dale's stream, and then we're going to see you guys all afterwards. I have a very important person here at my door that is banging at my door and needs me to take care of her, but I will see you guys later at the final whistle, and hopefully we'll be celebrating an Aston Villa win. So until then, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.